Welcome to the Huskie Huddle, sponsored by Jets Pizza. Today I'm sitting with some of the varsity players for the Hersey Girls Volleyball team. We're going to talk about the past season and upcoming next seasons. We'll be right back after the break. Welcome back to the Huskie Huddle. Today I'm sitting with Fran McBride and Ola Woodmansky to talk about the past volleyball season and the upcoming seasons. How are you guys doing today?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing very good. So what were some of your goals to start off this year, and did you guys accomplish them by the end of it?
I think for me, my personal goal was to block better, close my block, and I feel like I definitely improved on that. And also just to be more confident in my hitting, and I think given yesterday's game, I've definitely reached that level of confidence.
Got it.
I'd say my goal was probably better serve receive, and by the end of the season, I was passing better and I was more confident on the court.
Yeah. So what player on the team, whether it was a younger player or a senior that kind of stepped up, kind of surprised you the most, Ola?
Definitely Freya, honestly. I have to say her because, coming in, you're a sophomore on varsity, that's hard. That's, really scary. I was there too, and honestly, Freya played like she's been on varsity her whole life. So.
How about you?
I would also say Ola because she was one of the first people that really took me in, and we became really close from the start during summer league.
Yeah. So obviously a lot of pressure on someone that's a sophomore playing varsity volleyball. How do you deal with that pressure that you have in those games?
For me, I just try to talk myself through it, saying it's just playing a game of volleyball. Everyone's trying to do the same thing, and we're all a team, and everyone makes mistakes, and just being confident is what matters most.
Yeah. How about you, Ola?
I think I tell myself everyone has bad days because I did have some off games, but I think what I always reminded myself was to try to get all conference, and that's kind of what I went by. So.
Can you guys walk me through kind of a practice that you guys would normally have on the court, in the middle of the season?
Mm-hmm.
So we always start off practice with ball handling, just warming up our arms, and then sometimes our coach would make us do a series of passing, right?
Yeah.
And then we'd always go into serve receive.
Yeah, and if it wasn't serve receive, we'd do some sort of defensive drill, getting hit cross court or down the line.
Got it. And did the practices change at all coming up into the playoff season? Did it change near the end of the year?
Kind of. Our coach would always ask us if we have anything we want to work on, and she finally listened to us. So we've done some with hitting, and I think that was also very important to do. But mainly they've stayed the same.
Yeah.
How much dedication does it take, Ola, to become a varsity volleyball player?
It honestly takes a lot. It's very physically and mentally heavy on you, and I struggled, especially last season. But I feel again, once you gain that confidence, then you lighten up, kind of.
Yeah.
How about you?
I'd say it just takes a lot of time. So also practicing 6 days a week, you have to have that time and being ready to come prepared.
Yeah.
Yep.
So Ola, being a captain of the team, what kind of leadership roles did you have to learn throughout the year, or did you already kind of have some of the stuff?
I kind of
down?
already had some because I was my team captain for club. But I think what mainly I tried my best to do this season was just to group everyone together, whether it's we're getting stuck in a serve receive and no one's being able to side out. I kind of just hold everyone in there for that moment that we're together after that one point and kind of just say, okay, let's go, come on, let's side out. And I think also in huddles, we all kind of say something that we can work on, but I try to, say something more.
Yeah. You guys got any pregame rituals? We'll start with Freya.
For me, I always put my left knee pad on and then my right knee pad on. I don't know why. It's just something I've always done.
Ola.
For me, kind of with the knee pads, there's this one knee pad that has a tag on it, and that's my right one, and I kind of just I've never been able to switch it off. Mm-hmm. And I also eat saltines before.
Every single game?
Yep.
Oh. What does your guys' off season look like? What are you doing to get better between each season? Let's start with you.
Last year, I worked out every single day with my old teammate Claire, and it was also to help her with her rehab, but I think that's mainly what I did, plus club on top of that and going to nationals.
Yeah, how about you?
I do like lessons with my club, like serve receive or defense lessons, and then I'd have like club practice like pretty much almost every day.
Yeah. So throughout the season, there's obviously a lot of big decisions that as a team you guys had to make. Are there any decisions you wish you would have changed throughout the year, whether it was in practice, getting ready for a game, or even just in a game, like a big play?
I think practice-wise, I wish we stressed more to our coach to be like, can we like please work on this? Because I feel like the practice got very repetitive. So I wish early on in the season, because we go from summer camp straight into the season. So it's like a couple months of just straight volleyball. So I wish I kind of told my coach from the start, I'm like, hey, like, you know, we at least have to have like one hitting practice or like one blocking practice a week, because it's always like defensive heavy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree. I feel like we just like do kind of the same stuff, and like going from summer camp like straight into the season, like Ola said, it's just like hard to get to know our team so fast, and just like to be able to like build our setter and hitter connections, like also from the passing side, like it's hard to do it in such a short amount of time.
Yeah.
And going on from that, we do like a scavenger hunt every year, and I kind of feel like if we organize that more from the start before conference play, then we kind of would have, I don't know, gotten a little bit closer together quicker, and I think it's very important to have that connection outside of the court too.
Sure. So Fred, being a sophomore, what do you think the team is going to look like in the next couple of years? What's like the outlook for the future of this team?
I think especially like next few years, there's going to be like a lot of like seniors or juniors, because like my age, like a lot of people do volleyball, and like so do the like a year older than me, and like I feel like it's going to be some younger people, but it's going to be mostly like juniors and seniors.
Mm-hmm. So you guys lost some pretty big names this year. Claire Vander Herrick, as you mentioned earlier, and Erin Della Riva. What players really stepped up to fill in their roles?
Macy Teicher, she definitely did. I don't know where this came from. I mean, like, obviously I don't want this to sound rude, but like even from her being on JV last year, I didn't really see it, but then all of a sudden, like start of the season, she just starts pounding the ball, and I was like startled from it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd agree. Macy really stepped up and really just wanted to win all the games.
Got it. So thank you, Ola Woodmansky and Fran McBride, for coming on. After the break, we'll be back with 2 more varsity stars. Welcome back to the Huskie Huddle. I'm joined with Macy Teicher and Victoria Dabowski to talk about this past volleyball season. How are you guys doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing good. So what were your guys' goals coming into the season, and did you guys reach them individually and team? We'll start with Victoria.
As a personal goal, I think one of mine was to be more conscious on where I'm putting the ball. So instead of just hitting as hard as I can, I'd tip deep one or try and go somewhere where the players aren't.
Mm-hmm.
As for team-wise, one of my biggest goals was probably just to be more loud on the court and make sure that everybody's talking, not just one person.
Do you feel like you achieved both of those goals throughout the season?
I do. I do think I definitely became more conscious in what I'm doing.
And how about you, Macy?
I think mine personally was to be like more consistent, and as a team, I just think to like push each other like at practice more, to like work hard.
No. What player on the team like surprised you the most throughout the year? We'll start with Victoria again.
I definitely think Freya, because being a lib in general is insanely hard. Like, I don't know how people do it, and having a sophomore pulled up is insane in itself too.
Yeah.
It's just like she's been working insanely hard all season for it.
Yeah, I also think Freya too, because I think she just like works really hard to like get every ball, and it's really good.
Yeah. You have a lot of pressure in a varsity game, especially for underclassmen and stuff. How do you deal with pressure, and how did you teach kind of some of the sophomores that came up to deal with that pressure?
For me personally, the way that I dealt with the pressure was to kind of isolate my mind. So I would only think about what was happening in the moment instead of thinking about the game as a whole. That way you can play for every single point individually and not have to worry about messing up this point because it's game point.
Yeah, just 1 point at a time. How about you, Mason?
Yeah, I would agree, like 1 point at a time and just like focusing on like really just like getting each point. Like
Yeah. What is a typical practice look for you guys? We'll start with Victoria again.
To start, we usually do some sort of warm-up, either passing or some sort of arm warm-up. And then after that, we usually go into either an offensive or a defensive drill. Sometimes it's cooperative, sometimes we play for points.
Yeah.
And then at the end, occasionally we do scrimmage against JV or against ourselves.
You guys someone talked about the scavenger hunt earlier. What does that entail? What kind of stuff do you guys do there?
The scavenger hunt is basically the entirety of varsity gets split up into different teams, and we have a list of tasks we have to complete in a certain amount of time. And while doing all of these tasks, you take pictures, videos, and at the end, everybody gets together and we share all of them. And it's just really fun.
yeah.
How much dedication does it take to become a varsity player for Hersey volleyball?
It takes a lot. 6 practices a week is definitely taxing both mentally and physically. And sort of the expectation within Hersey volleyball is that it becomes your first priority. Like right after school, it's Hersey volleyball.
Yeah.
So just making sure you put all your effort into that is quite taxing.
Yeah, I think that, and also it's just like really competitive with everyone doing similar positions and stuff.
Yeah, fighting for spots.
Yeah.
Do you guys have any pregame rituals, like meals or anything you do specifically before every game?
I always have my headphones in before a game, so I'll usually be listening to one specific playlist that I have. It's usually like 80s classic rock.
Really? Who's
Yeah.
like your favorite artist in that genre there?
I don't have a favorite, honestly. It's just like a bunch of different bands mixed together.
Got
and
it.
then
Mine's just like stretching with like my armbands to like feel like loose and stuff.
What does your off season look like? What kind of work are you guys putting in to get better for every single season?
well, for most people, including myself, we have club. So when we're not playing Hersey volleyball, we're playing some sort of outside club volleyball.
Yeah.
And then with that, I usually just try and like eat as healthy as possible and then go to the gym, lift, or do some sort of like exercise.
Yeah, mine's just like club also.
How many hours do you put into club per week during that off season? Like how much time does that take up?
Club volleyball is usually 3 practices a week, give or take, and then you also have tournaments either every week or every other week. So it's a little less than the regular week at Hersey volleyball, but it's still a lot.
So you guys are spending almost your
Yeah.
entire year playing volleyball, getting ready for
Yeah.
Basically.
Hersey. Yeah. Are there any decisions throughout the year that you guys would have changed in like a game plan or just in a game at all? Any kind of decision that would have changed a game that you think you would go back and change?
I don't think necessarily that there's a decision during a game, but I think before certain games, there were definitely practices where we just didn't put as much effort as we needed to, or it would be more of like a relaxing practice instead of like a disciplined practice.
Yeah.
So I think changing it to be a more disciplined practice before big games would have helped us.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
So you're a junior. You're going to be coming back next year.
Yeah.
What's the outlook on next year's team or years to come? How do you think we're going to do?
I think definitely like more heavy seniors and juniors, and I think I'm excited for it because I think a lot of the other teams are losing their seniors this year, like Rolling Meadows, so it'll be like more of an even playing field.
Be competitive for the MSL. So you guys lost some big names, Claire, and you lost Aaron. What players stepped up in those big spots to kind of fill in that role?
There's 2 that come to mind. One of them is Macy, and then the other one I'd probably say Anna Spilson. As a right side, she's been crushing it, honestly, and same with Macy. Like, she's been putting down almost every single ball she gets.
Got it. How about you?
Yeah, I would definitely say Anna too.
What's like your favorite moment from this season? Like all together, it could be practice or outside of practice, just hanging out with the team.
My favorite moment would probably be the prospect game we played, our first prospect game we played at Forest View, because right before we were supposed to start playing, the fire alarm went off. And so we all had to go outside, and we were sitting in a circle just like playing random childhood games.
Sure.
And we were doing a bunch of stuff like that before we actually started playing, and then we ended up crushing them anyways. So it was just like a nice, genuine moment with everybody.
How about you, Macy?
Yeah, I think that was really fun. And then the scavenger hunt obviously was a highlight.
Got it. We'd like to thank Macy and Victoria for coming onto the show. We'll be back after the break with one of the coaches.
Be right there. Wait. Use the shovel and bucket of water, remember? Drown, stir, drown, feel. Then make sure it's cool.
Where'd you learn that?
SmokeyBear.com. Brushed up on some tips before we left. Don't want to start a wildfire, right?
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Welcome back to the Huskie Huddle, powered by Jets Pizza. I'm Johnny Fahey, and today I'm sitting with Coach Williams of the volleyball team, and we're going to be talking about this last season. Miss Williams, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great, thanks.
What were your goals coming into the start of this year, and did you achieve them as a team?
Oh, we definitely did. I mean, we didn't have all the wins that we wanted, but all the girls grew, worked hard, developed as a cohesive unit, and we're looking forward to the postseason right now.
Which player on the team surprised you the most throughout the year?
Well, when I look at the varsity squad, I had 3 girls that I coached on our freshman B team. So to me, it's super impressive that we could bring 3 girls from freshman B all the way to varsity playing this year.
And who are those girls that you were coaching back then?
That'd be Victoria, Madeline, and Victoria. 2 Victorias.
Oh, wow.
Madeline, yeah.
So a lot of pressure from a coach even. A lot of people talk about players having pressure, but how do you handle the pressure of a big game that you have? Like if it's a rival in conference or like a big prospect game, how would you deal with the pressure?
Dealing with the pressure is always hard because it's such a mental game as much as a physical game. In all your practices, you're really working on the physical. So when you get to the game, then you have to think about the mental. Yeah. The girls all have to believe that they can do it, believe that they can do what they're capable of doing, what they've done in practice, put it on the court during the game. And getting the girls to believe in themselves and know that they can do it, move forward and win is all it takes.
Yeah. So we talked about earlier with some of the varsity players how their practices look like. What do your practices look like as a lower level coach for?
Yeah, for sophomores, we always start with fundamentals. Passing the ball first, setting, hitting, good form. At the sophomore level, we especially want to make sure we're getting the right footwork, the right body, so that by the time they're on varsity, it comes natural. They don't have to work on it as much. So
Yeah.
A lot of fundamentals at the sophomore level, and then just keep reinforcing all the other things.
Yeah. So how much dedication, you coach some of the younger people, but how much dedication does it take to get from a freshman player all the way up to a varsity player over time? Like how much time has to be put in?
It takes a lot. You know, we only have them from August until October. After season, we encourage everyone then to go start playing club volleyball. 2 weeks from now, they'll all be getting on the club teams where they're going to really grow skills, play in tournaments, play with different girls, learn from different coaches, then come back to summer camp in the summer. And we expect big growth in the off season so that they come back to us as different players, not the same player that graduated from our program at the end of October.
Yeah. What kind of stuff do you look for in like a tryout for some of the younger players? What are you looking for in a player?
We look for athleticism, knowledge of the game. Just having some good volleyball IQ is always really helpful. Willing to coach, be coached, take the advice, work on the things we're asking you to work on. If you're coming to practice and at the end of the season, I'm still telling you to do the same thing I was telling you at the beginning of the season, we want to question why you haven't changed or what's going on. So really being coachable because we have great coaches in the program and working with them and showing their own love for the game by improving themselves.
Got it. So as a coach, what does the kind of the off season look like for whether it's summer camp or getting some of the other girls prepared? Are you still involved in their volleyball stuff, or is it just the girls on their own?
Girls on their own in the off season for the most part until summer camp, and
Yeah.
then we do varsity and JV usually have games in the summer as well.
So what does the summer camp usually look like for that?
3 to 4 weeks of a couple hours a day, skill building, team building, playing. It's really just kind of a get you back in the swing of things, get ready for tryouts is
Got it.
really what it is.
Yeah.
We're hoping that the growth really occurs from postseason up until summer camp.
And you're looking to see it there.
And we're looking to see what happened
Got
in
it.
that time period.
Are there any decisions throughout the entire year that you would have changed as a coach to maybe get a team another win, or even at practice changing up what you would have done to prepare for that upcoming game?
Every game you watched a game last night or the last game of the season, I'm thinking about things I want to work on. And I had to stop myself and be like, oh, we don't have any more practices. So you're always watching the game, see how the girls are performing, and making that list in your head about what you want to work on at practice the next two. So we're always kind of going back and revisiting all those things. Yeah. In terms of decisions, you're always trying to get all the girls as much playing time as possible, giving them the best opportunity to show us what they've learned. That's hard when you play 2 games. Sometimes quick night, 14 girls on my squad, trying to get everyone some decent playing time, some opportunity to show us what they can do. So that's hard.
So what do you think the biggest strength of the varsity team was this year? Was it defense or offense? Or
unfortunately, the last half of the season, I was playing at the same time varsity was playing. But I would say, they've got great coaches and they've got a great set of girls. I coached a lot of them when they were sophomores and some of them when they were freshmen. And I think they just have a lot of energy and they have a lot more within them that I don't know that they're necessarily showing on the court every day.
Got it. So as a younger player coach, what's the outlook on the next couple of years for Hersey volleyball?
I think we're kind of in a growth period right now. We have to see what the incoming group is. We always get surprised. Some 8th grader out there is playing awesome right now, going to join our program, and then we just see a lot of improvement from girls from our season till the start of next season. So, I'd say we're in a growth phase.
Yeah. So you lost a lot of big names last year: Claire Vander Herrick, Erin De La Riva. Which kind of big players kind of stepped up into their roles?
Oh gosh, we have a great squad. We have Freya came up. She's a great DS with Sophia Rizzo. Ola's been great. She played last year, though. Victoria Dabowski, Saluski, Macy played for me her sophomore year. All doing great.
Yeah. And then finally, what's your favorite moment of this year as a coach?
Favorite moment, actually, when I announced that I was retiring from coaching at our end of season pizza party, just the look of stun on all the girls' faces. I was really shocked, but it was warmed my heart that it seemed kind of sad that I'm leaving. But I said I'm still around. I'll be in the bleachers, just not coaching anymore.
Got it. We'd like to thank Ms. Willett for coming on to the show. We'll be right back after the break.
Thank you.
When we have the food we need, we are at our best. We push further. We rise higher. We unlock our full potential. When we have the food we need, we make our communities stronger. Together, we can help everyone get the food they need to thrive. Join the movement to end hunger at feedingamerica.org/actnow.
That's it for today's show. Thank you for joining us at the Huskie Huddle, powered by Jets Pizza. My name is Johnny Fahey, and today we talked about the volleyball team. Thank you for tuning in.